What happened to everybody? Were they all tired listening to all these stories of statistics and so forth? Hey, who's wearing spectacles here? Yes? I see about half. Who are wearing lenses? Lenses. Who had their eyes lasered? Are they lasered? You're lucky. You're lucky, okay? Because let me tell you, what is the problem, namely? I have a question to the people who are wearing spectacles. Could you ever have finished your school not wearing spectacles? How about you? Could you have finished your school? You don't speak English. Who speaks English? Who speaks English? Could you have finished your school without spectacles? Could you, let's say, can you do your job without spectacles? Can you work without spectacles? Not. Okay, this is a problem, and let me tell you, that is the problem all around the world, because lack of vision undermines your literacy and your productivity, and also, of course, also your earning powers. But we are so used to spectacles because around the corner you have a spectacle shop here in Le Havre or in Paris or wherever you are. They are vastly available, and it is in Europe and in the United States the spectacle wearership, and I'll call that spectacle wearership because then it is easily understood. 50 to 55% of all the people are wearing some kind of vision correction. And in Asia, that's 10%, and in Africa, that's only 5%. And I've always wondered, would these Africans really have these hunter's eyes? Let me tell you, the only gene that differs with them from us is the gene that determines the color of the skin. And for the rest, they are the same. It's the same also with the eye doctors, the ophthalmologists. You see that there is an enormous difference in availability of eye care. In Africa, there's only one for 1 million people. And let me tell you, in a country like Tanzania, which has 41 million people, there are 13 ophthalmologists. 9 of them practice in Dar es Salaam, the biggest city with 4 million people. 41 minus 4 is 37. That leaves also four ophthalmologists for 37 million people. One of them is not interested in practicing because he makes more money as a politician. So that means one ophthalmologist for 12 million people. It is so sad to say that around the world, 1 billion people need a pair of glasses just for simple surviving. And by not having a good view, it causes worldwide annually $200 billion on damage in economical senses. This is the pyramid of eye care. And you see the ophthalmologists, we have them around in this country, we have them around in the Netherlands where I come from, we have optometrists everywhere, we have opticians everywhere. And right at the bottom of the pyramid, they are not there, because there is where the glasses are needed. When you go to a big city like Accra, or you go to Cairo or Addis Ababa, there are glasses, they are available. But when you go to the rural areas where there is no eye care whatsoever, there is nothing. And what we are trying to do is to train these vision guardians. Ophthalmic care is expensive. You know, if you want to have an operation on your eyes with cataract, or if you have, let's say, squint eyes, or if you have anything, a deviation in your vision, you just have to look at the amounts that your insurance company is paying to your ophthalmologist, and you cannot really believe it that it is so expensive. There is also, in the rural areas of the world, there is a simple insufficient availability of spectacles. And of course, there is no eye care at the bottom of the pyramid. What are the consequences? What are the consequences really when you look at that very, very carefully? Children are spes patriae. There's a Latin expression for the hope of the home country, the hope of the country. And if I tell you that 10% of all children around the world averagely are born with so-called myopia. Myopia is nearsightedness, and that develops around puberty, and then you cannot see the blackboard anymore. I think there are many people here wearing minus glasses that developed this particular problem during their puberty. But when you grow older, and you will recognize it, the ones who have gray hair, that your arms get too short. Well, reading, so you need reading glasses. So the need for simple eye care in rural areas is an absolute must. But there's a culture. If you go in France, when you go to an optician or an optometrist, you are a client. But in the colonial times, there were the missionaries and the nuns and the brothers and so forth, and they brought medical care to the rural areas in Africa and in South America and in India, Nepal, and so forth. And they started to evangelize by applying and allowing medical care to the people. And so people that needed a pair of glasses are not sick, because it is just something that your muscles in your eye don't work properly, and you just correct that with a simple pair of lenses. But they did not call them clients, they were their patients, and so they made them dependent on them. Now, solutions, of course, when you look at solutions, you get spectacles, contact lenses, intraocular lenses, or laser treatment, whatever. It's all available in this country, but it is not available in developing countries. As I said, the service of spectacles is not available in the rural areas. There is also no professional personnel. And so we have developed the focus spec. And what is a focus spec? That is adjustable glasses. You see the little yellow wheel there, and when you turn the wheel, you can adapt the power of your own spectacles. Now, of course, I've always have the question, but if you do that yourself, doesn't that hinder with your eyes? Shouldn't a professional do that? Well, we have had many investigations and field studies on self-refraction, as it is called, and you see, let me tell you, 70% of all prescriptions at the opticians are wrong. 70%, all right? Because if you sit in that fancy chair, which costs 50,000 euros, if you sit in the fancy chair, who determines if you can look right through the lenses? Who determines? You do that yourself, exactly. You do that yourself. But now you have that expensive thing for €3.75, you got it on your nose. So what do we need to do first? We need to, but an expensive word, a difficult word for correcting your view, your vision is that you are correcting refractive errors. And there are two different ones. Presbyopia, I already told you, your arms get too short, and there is myopia, which is congenital to 10% of the total world population. And if it is not corrected, I can tell you, in Africa, you stand almost a 100% chance to be a high school dropout. So what would Focus on Vision like to offer? We have developed a model for presbyopia, for farsightedness, and we have developed a model for nearsightedness, for myopia. And you see, you can adjust them between 0.5 and 4.5 for the presbyopia, and between -1 and -5 for the myopia. And let me tell you, this combination serves more than 90% of all the necessary spectacles. So we are truly offering universal spectacles. Here you see we are busy in a Ghanaian school, and look at the smile on the face that the lady can see right again. It is always beautiful. I come back to the distribution. I told you already, since the Second World War, the optical business has professionalized in a vast way. We have expensive shops, we have expensive chairs, But before the Second World War, in the rural areas, there were the hawkers that came by with the suitcases, and they had some aprons, they had some underwear, they had some shoes, and they knocked on the door of Maman, and Maman bought whatever she needed, and maybe for Granddad, she bought also a pair of spectacles. And this is the 19th century how that was done. And the same is done. You can also buy in your supermarket your reading spectacles. With the focus pack, however, we can distribute, we are training these vision guardians at the bottom of the pyramid, and we can do that in a classroom manner. And by doing so, we can distribute, one person can distribute more than 150 glasses per day. We are a member of a part of a sub-organization of the World Health Organization called the IAPB, which is the International Agency for the Association for the Prevention of Blindness. And that's a kind of a recognition. Of course, we do studies. We must know what's going on. Adjustable spectacles are always second best. The best is always prescription glasses, but we are talking about emergency cases around the world where there is no basic eye service available at all. And that's why we are training people where the ophthalmologists or the optometrists are not coming. It is, you see, here we are training, this is, where was it? Oh, that's a good question. Somewhere in Africa. I think it was in Dar es Salaam. Where we have been training clinical nurses to make the difference between good view and no view. A vision guardian, when he or she is trained, she can recognize eye diseases. It's namely so we are trying to find out, is the eye sick or is the eye healthy? Is the eye sick, we send them to a doctor. Because a pair of spectacles cannot heal sick eyes. Is the eye healthy? Then we screen it if it needs glasses, yes or no. And in 93% of the cases, we can help the people on the spot. There are also people with -12 or +10 or whatever. We cannot help them. They belong to the 7% we cannot serve. So the vision guardian can recognize the simple refractive error, and they can be distributed at a very low cost. Doet it? Yes. There we go. And that's me in Africa.
In't Veld, créateur de Focus on Vision, Eindhoven, Pays-Bas.
Actuellement, il y a presque 1 milliard de personnes dans le monde qui ont besoin de lunettes, mais qui n'en ont pas, faute de moyens ou d'accessibilité pour en acheter.
Cet ancien entrepreneur dans l'acier a décidé de s'attaquer à ce problème. Avec son fils Frédéric, il a mis au point des lunettes ajustables. 2 lentilles présentes dans le verre coulissent l'une sur l'autre pour faire la mise au point souhaitée.
Tout nouveau projet est difficile à lancer. Les gens ne croient pas en vous, ils sont négatifs. Ils vous disent « Mais qu'est-ce qui te prend? Ne sois pas stupide !»
8 ans plus tard, Yann vend ses lunettes dans plus de 36 pays. Sa facilité d'utilisation est une des raisons de son succès.
C'est très simple. Vous avez juste à les mettre sur le nez et avec les doigts et les pouces, vous les ajustez à votre vue.
Direction du jour, le village tanzanien d'Ombolo, où une centaine de personnes l'attendent, certaines depuis plusieurs années. Il faut dire que la Tanzanie compte 12 ophtalmologistes pour 40 millions d'habitants.
À chaque fois qu'une personne ajuste ses lunettes et qu'il retrouve la vue et sourit, c'est un cadeau de Dieu.
Ces lunettes, vendues entre 2 et 5 euros, répondent à 90% aux besoins de la population. Elles accompagnent leurs propriétaires pendant toute leur vie.
Notre capacité de production maximale est d'1 million de lunettes par an. Ça veut dire qu'il y a de la place pour 1000 initiatives comme la nôtre pour satisfaire tout le monde.
Alors, prêt à chausser ses lunettes ?
Thank you very much. Thank you. At Meet the Speaker, I have glasses available, and you can have a look there. As you see, we have namely 3 major channels of distribution. One is what I call the charming channel. Those are the ophthalmologists that are going to do the free cataract operation somewhere in some developing country. They buy a few boxes and distribute them. Then you got these institutional foundations that have adopted a school or a clinic or something. They buy a few boxes and they distribute them, and we have our own projects. And at the moment we have about 5 projects running, the biggest one being in Kenya for 10,000 children between 11 and 16-year-old and their parents. We need massive sponsoring for that, and I invite you also to be good to our foundation. And of course, if you have suggestions for new projects, please, my business card is at Meet the Speaker corner, and please take it with you, think about it, and let me know. And we need, of course, establish contacts in developing countries. That was it. Thank you very much.